Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be discussing my top nonfiction reads for the year 2023. In 2023, I read 272 books. Normally I read about a 50-50 fiction-nonfiction split. This year, however, only 37% of that 272 were nonfiction reads. However, I have some great recommendations. And also, before we get started, I would love to hear your top nonfiction reads for 2023. So put those in the comment section below if you have recommendations or you just want to share the nonfiction that you read this year that you really enjoyed, or last year, we're in 2024, the nonfiction that you enjoyed in 2023. Please put those in the comment section below. So let's jump into my top 2023 nonfiction reads. There is a separate video for the fiction reads. This year, I feel like most of my recommendations fall into two camps. They're either about Japan and Japanese woodblock prints and art, or mathematics, which are kind of two weird camps because those are not the only two sections of nonfiction that I read. I enjoy almost anything in the nonfiction section. True crime, I am a little leery about, but I did read some true crime this year that I did enjoy. However, everything that floated to the top, or almost everything that floated to the top this year, was either about Japan or about mathematics, with a few exceptions. So let's talk about Japan first. I read a lot of books on Japanese woodblock prints. These are organized into playlists on my channel. There's one that's on art, which includes art from all around the world, and there is another one just specifically on Japan. So if that sounds interesting to you, you can go check it out. I read a lot of books on a wide variety of authors and a wide variety of artists is what I should say, by a wide variety of authors, and they were all very, very interesting. I can't mention every single book here because it was quite a number, but I do have a whole Japan playlist, and everything on that, in that Japan playlist, would have been on this top list. I also feel weird because I didn't want to pick one artist and be like, this was the top read, because really all of them, and learning about the Japanese woodblock print and the culture that it came from, and the period of time and the history around it, as well as learning about all sorts of aspects of Japanese culture that were reflected in the woodblock prints, was very, very interesting. And I feel like all the books connected together in such a way that I really didn't feel like picking one. There wasn't really one that I was going to call out, Japan Journeys by Andreas, but really that entire Japan playlist I have on my channel contains a lot of interconnected books that I've really, really enjoyed in 2023. I just kind of discovered this area of the library, this section of the library that had all of these books on woodblock prints, and I have been reading through it slowly throughout the year 2023, and I hope to continue that in 2024. I would also love to go see some of this art in person. I didn't visit any art museums in 2023. Not that I'm a huge art museum person, but I feel like I go to at least one a year, just out of curiosity, and I did not go to any in 2023. So I'm trying to make an effort in 2024 to maybe see some of these pieces that I've read about, or some of these artists I've read about in person in an art museum. Next, in the same vein, is Japanese yokai and other supernatural beings. This was a collection that discussed the yokai and the role they play in Japanese folklore, mythology, and current culture. I really loved this book, and I would like to acquire a copy. I feel like it's a great reference book, but it was also enjoyable to just read and flip through. So if that sounds interesting, the review for that one is on my channel. Again, I feel like it's kind of connected to some of these other books that I've been talking about, but I really enjoyed that book as well. Next up is a photography collection by Liam Wong, and it was called Tokyo, and I felt like I just really enjoyed this book. It just jumped off the shelf when I saw it. The colors are very cyberpunk-esque, is really the only way I can describe it. At least that's the way I describe it. And I love the photography collection. It was the kind of book that I check out of the library, and I wish I could just kind of keep permanently out of the library, but that's not how the library works. I returned it so everyone else can enjoy Tokyo as well, and other people do enjoy it. I see it's checked out very frequently, but I really did love this photography collection of a very interesting and beautiful city with all sorts of editing that gives it a very science fiction futuristic glow. So if you like photography collections, but maybe that editing aspect sounds interesting, check out Tokyo by Liam Wong. Next, we have another art collection, and this was Embroidary, the Art of Yoshioka. This was just a science fiction fantasy collection anthology. I'm not sure what the right word is, but it was a really cool book of art by Yoshioka, this author, or this artist, I should say. And I just had a great time flipping through it. I still think about that book. That book and Tokyo by Liam Wong, I feel like come to the top of my mind when I think about books that I read in 2023, like art books that I read in 2023. So both of those were really interesting and really good. If you enjoy art, either photography or I think it was some sort of digital drawing, which was the medium that the embroidery book was from, but I'm not an artist, so don't quote me on that. Both of those, if any of those sound interesting to you, if either of those sound interesting to you, then these could be the books that you could check out or buy or purchase or get from your local library in 2024 to read yourself. Next, we have Midnight at Chernobyl by Adam Higginbotham. So this was an audiobook that I listened to, and I feel like it was the first audiobook that kind of comprehensively put everything that happened at Chernobyl together, along with the cultural context and the historical implications, but not in a 700-page tome, because I don't need that level of detail or information. I am not a Soviet Union historian. I am not a Chernobyl historian. I don't need that level of granularity, but I was looking to have a book that kind of put all the information together, because I felt like I had watched a documentary here or there. I watched the little series that was put out, but I felt like I wanted to read something that put it all together, along with some commentary and context around it. And so I just gave Midnight at Chernobyl a try. I listened to it in audiobook format while taking a road trip through on the eastern edge of the United States. It was a beautiful road trip, and it was a very interesting book that I feel like gave me everything that I wanted about Chernobyl. It was exactly the book I was looking for the topic and for the concept, and I love it when I want to learn something and I find the perfect book that kind of matches what I'm looking for. When I find that kind of marriage of, okay, I want to learn about this, oh, here's a book, and it doesn't just show me some of what I want or pique my interest, it kind of provides everything I'm looking for. I just feel like that's a match made in heaven. So I really enjoyed this, and if you enjoy history, or if you just want to get a fuller context with more information around Chernobyl, because you just kind of know the sketch outline details like I did going into this, this Midnight at Chernobyl by Adam Higginbotham could be the book for you. So give that a read. Finally, I have another viewer suggestion. I love getting viewer suggestions. I love when people leave comments on my videos recommending similar books that I may enjoy. I do try to read every single one of them. If I can get a copy ordered to my personal library, I will read it and I will review it. So leave your recommendations below so I can get to them. This was Surreal Numbers by D.E. Knuth. I actually read this book, or this book was recommended following me reading another math book, which I'll talk about first, which is The Big Bang of Numbers by Manil Suri. I hope I'm Suri. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I will have these listed in the description below. But that book, both of these books kind of discuss how to build numbers from a theoretical foundation. That is the best way I can describe it. I really enjoy mathematics, so the reason these two floated to the top were because they kind of were things that were interesting to me. They may not be enjoyable to everyone. I think The Big Bang of Numbers was more accessible to someone who wasn't familiar with mathematics to begin with, so I feel like that might be the book that more people enjoy, but I really enjoyed The Big Bang of Numbers, and I also have a little bit more familiarity with mathematics because I did receive my college degree in mathematics. So someone suggested I read Surreal Numbers by D.E. It's Knuth, I believe how you say that last name, and I enjoyed both of these books. I do have reviews of both of these on my channel, so if either of these sound interesting, I would recommend starting with The Big Bang of Numbers, which is a little bit more user-friendly. I haven't taken math since high school friendly, if that makes sense. People who maybe don't have a latent interest in mathematics or aren't like me reading a new book on math every single week, then maybe starting with The Big Bang of Numbers would be the best place to start. But if that is interesting to you, I highly recommend moving on to Surreal Numbers by D.E. Knuth, because I actually think it's the better of the two, but I think it's a little bit more technical and a little bit less hand-holdy than The Big Bang of Numbers. So I think moving in that order would be my personal recommended reading order for those two books. But those are books that I think about a lot and I really enjoyed from 2023 in the field of mathematics. And I think that if any of that sounds interesting to you, or if you just have a little bit of curiosity, go check out my book reviews and see if maybe they are books that you want to read in 2024. Again, leave any books that you read in 2023 that you really enjoyed in the comment section below. I love to receive your recommendations or your comments. I just like to read them. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.